You are answering this interview question wrong, and I guarantee it's why you haven't gotten a job offer, so you're gonna wanna stick to the end of this video. Hey, what's up? It's Emily. Welcome back to my channel. My goal is to help you thrive in your 9 to 5 and beyond. I've worked in talent acquisition as a recruiter for over 7 years. I've got Instagram, I've got TikTok, I've been in the BBC, I'm a writer for Canadian Business. Careers is my life. Like, it is what I do, and I'm no BS. That's the difference. When you're a part of the familia over here, let me tell you, I'm not gonna gatekeep anything. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I just want you to get your dream job, make that money, and go home and live your best life. So with that being said, let us start off with the most BS interview question that could possibly exist. Tell me a little bit about your strengths and your weaknesses. Boo. Throwing tomatoes, throwing tomatoes.
Oh my God, corny, lame, boo, tomato, I'm throwing tomatoes.
This is such a lazy interview question, in my opinion. First of all, nobody is perfectly self-aware. None of us are going to be able to perfectly measure what our biggest strength is and what our biggest weakness is. And ultimately, a lot of us don't feel comfortable sharing what our authentic weaknesses are in an interview setting. Let's start off with the easy part, which is your strengths. And I know this probably feels like something you want to skip ahead on. I would encourage you to stick through because I'm going to tell you something that I think is going to surprise you a little bit. Your natural reaction when somebody asks you what your strengths are is going to be to share a laundry list of all of the things that you're great at. What I would encourage you to actually do is go back to the job description in advance of the interview. Yeah, this is where we take it to the next level. You're going to see what the specific requirements for the job are. Is there a need for data and analytics, stakeholder management, presentation skills, whatever it is, and I want you to write down all of the skills listed on the job description that you actually bring to the table. When the recruiter is asking you these questions, it's because they want to see if you measure up against the requirements for the role. So when you do this, you're making their job a lot easier and honestly doubling your chances of getting to the next round. But it doesn't stop there. I don't want you just to list out all of the strengths that you think you see in yourself based on this job description. I want you to pick the top 3 that you are really, really strong on. And I want you to think about what those specific examples are in your personal life, in your previous work experience, in school, where you've really been able to demonstrate that.
Amy, it says you are trained in technology. That's very good. Are you adept at Excel?
No.
PowerPoint?
No.
Publisher?
Not really.
Exactly in what area of technology are you proficient?
Snapchat, Pinterest, Instagram, Vine.
Because giving a one-word answer, like I'm a really good communicator, is not going to cut it in today's job market. This shit is competitive. So instead, you're going to say something like this. Thank you for asking that question, because part of why I was so excited to interview for this role is because I know I'm a great fit based on what the job description mapped out. The couple of strengths that I know I bring to the table are my communication and my data and analytics skills. Most recently, in my last role, I accomplished XYZ, leveraging my XYZ skills that really enabled me to be successful in my role, and I'm excited to bring those skills to the table in this position. Boom, that was so good. You always want to give them a little bit more than what they bargained for. If you go in with this one-word answer, yeah, you answered the question, but did you wow them? And remember, interviews at their core are sales pitches. So what are you doing to make sure you are the most tasty bun in the bakery? Ew, I didn't like that analogy. Now, are there strengths that you should not be listing in an interview? I would actually argue yes. Some strengths can come across as a little bit demanding or strong or difficult to work with. So these are some of the things I would just avoid. I wouldn't share that you are great with dealing with conflict, even though that is an amazing skill to have.
Parking lot, after school, it's on.
It also implies that maybe you came from a bit of a toxic work environment, and can sometimes imply that maybe you were a part of some drama, maybe you were kind of in the mix of it. I would avoid answering that unless they ask explicitly. Avoid saying that you love doing independent work, and although that might be true and this role might be primarily focused on you being heads down in the work that you do, no matter what, teamwork and collaboration is important to organizations. So if you lead with saying, I'm really great at working by myself, what that recruiter is going to hear is,
ooh, they don't like working with other people.
Same thing goes for saying you're really strong at working with difficult people. That might be true, and again, it's a really good life skill, but it implies that you think other people that you worked with were a pain in the ass. And even if they were a pain in the ass, you don't want to come across as speaking negatively or ill about your former or current employer. Mostly because even if you are a positive and kind person, when we speak ill of each other, psychologically, the person receiving that information is going to associate you with negativity. Even if that's not fair, even if that's not true, That's just how psychology works, so I always like to avoid those things. I also have to keep it real with you. It is not possible for you to prepare for every single interview question. It's great that you are here, and I love that for you, but in the off chance you get asked a question that you weren't prepared to answer, there are some tips and tricks to help you make sure that you can think on your feet without fumbling and potentially saying something that jeopardizes your chances. So before you answer any interview question, make sure you take a deep breath. I know this sounds silly, but it can actually help regulate your nervous system and adjust your posture. When we stand like we're confident, when we make eye contact, when we speak with our hands and smile when we communicate, we're always going to come across as more confident, even if we have no idea what the actual hell we're saying.
I'm so confused.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
And when all else fails, make sure you are using the STAR method to answer those interview questions. If you have not heard of the STAR method, you must be new here because I talk about it a lot, but it is basically a framework on how you can answer interview questions on the spot without tripping up and maybe talking too much or talking too little. Essentially, STAR stands for the situation, the task, the action, and the result. So when you're asked an interview question and you have no idea what the heck the answer is, or you were not prepared to answer it, you start off with one sentence to describe what the situation was. I was tasked with doing a team project. What the task itself was. We were looking at analyzing compliance data for one of our clients. What was the action? So I put together a slide deck directly for our clients. What was the result? The client was happy and we boosted their compliance by 100%. So whether it's this question or another, if you panic, if you freeze, go back to the STAR method. It is my true north to make sure you get the right things out there. Okay, let's mosey on over to the weaknesses section. If you are asked what is your greatest weakness in an interview, I need you to avoid doing these two things. Number one, stop being so honest. I need you to actually just zip it. Okay? I don't want you talking to your future boss about how you cry 3 days a week at work. Or how you have a really difficult time staying organized and that you're often late on deadlines.
I'm a mess.
That might be true. But bestie, they don't want to hear it. In fact, I don't want to hear it. Keep it to yourself. Talk to your mother about it. It is not for you and I to discuss. I also don't want you to give bullshit answers, okay? There's a nice in between where we're being honest and authentic, but not taking it too far and being too rigid. What I want you to avoid is saying basic answers like, I'm a perfectionist. Do you know who else is a perfectionist? Literally everybody. Every single person on the internet says that they are a perfectionist, and that might be true for some, but I bet you 99% of people who say they are a perfectionist in an interview are not actually perfectionists, and recruiters see through that. Recruiters don't expect that to be an honest answer, and unfortunately, they might interpret that as you being lazy and not preparing, or you not being honest, and both of those are bad news bears.
The lie detector test determined that was a lie.
So here's what we're going to do instead. I'm telling you, this is tried and true. This is the perfect way to answer this question. You're going to be relatively honest about one of your skills' downfalls is. For me, it's data and analytics. I love numbers, but I'm not great at working with them. But instead of you just saying, I'm not great at data, you're gonna say this. Great question. Honestly, data and analytics don't come naturally to me, so it's something I work extra hard at. For me, that means I carve out additional time in my work week to review my numbers to ensure they're accurate. Do you see what I did there? I gave an honest answer about a real skills gap or something I consistently have to work on, but I'm telling the recruiter how I solve for it. They are looking for your ability to be self-aware of what some of your skills gaps are, as well as if you are motivated or smart enough to be able to overcome them and work through them. To answer this question well, you need to understand what the recruiters are actually looking for when they're asking it to you. And I gotta start off by saying they're probably looking for an easy way out because this interview question actually sucks. They're looking for self-awareness. They want to hire someone that they perceive to be self-aware of their own strengths and weaknesses so that you can independently course correct when you're in the job and you know how to flex to get the work done. They're looking for perceived integrity. They want to feel like you are honest and you are authentic and that you're not just rehearsing some crappy interview answers and questions you found on YouTube. Basically, anybody on the internet who is telling you just to answer this question quickly, honestly, and very concise is not doing you a service. You need to go a little bit deeper in order to stand out. If you're wondering how long these answers should be, I would highly recommend keeping your answers to about a minute or two at most. And that's not because you need to like speak quickly or rush through any of these things, but studies show people tune out after a couple of minutes anyway. So anything you say after the 2-minute mark, it might be going in one ear and out the other.
I'm not listening to you. You're crazy.
And I say this all the time, but with this and with any other interview question, even if you are saying the most perfect things on the planet, if you don't communicate in a way that is clear and confident, you are going to be setting yourself up for failure. So if you want more content on how to communicate effectively and clearly and really come across as confident, make sure you're checking out other videos on my channel, because that is literally what I do. Are you feeling ready to rock it? Because I just have a sense that your next interview, you are absolutely going to crush. You're going to have to let me know if you've got questions down in those comments. Make sure you subscribe to this channel because I post nonstop content to help you level up your career and level up your life. Thank you so much for spending some time with me, and happy interviewing, my friends.